Crystal Palace are going to sit in. They're going to defend deep. And Arsenal are going to have to try and break their way through Crystal Palace. It's a bit like what they did against Manchester City in that FA Cup final. They defended, then they got their break and Eze scored. Could that work tonight against an informed Gunners side? It's Chris Richards on the halfway line, the American international, formerly of Bayern Munich. Gehi out wide to Mitchell. He hooks it forward, it's not very good. That'll go all the way to the goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga, wearing all green tonight. Spanish goalkeeper. So Arsenal try to attack on the right-hand side with the former Chelsea man, Noni Madueke. It's William Saliba. Calafiore is in the centre circle. Lovely pass forward to Eze. Lovely little touch. Tries to get away from two Crystal Palace players, but Wharton got an important touch. Arsenal win the ball back. It's Eze once more. Wharton's trying to nick the ball off him. Eze does better this time. He's able to find it back to Lewis Skelly, and Arsenal again start from the back. And when I say at the back, it's on the halfway line. It's just the back line. This game is being played in Crystal Palace's half at the moment. Here's Calafiore. Over to Gabriel Martinelli. He's going to try and run at Cambo. He's going to try and beat the man. Cross comes in. It's defended by Crystal Palace. And somehow I think Cambo kept it in play. No, he didn't. It's gone out for a corner kick. Good play there by the Brazilian winger Gabriel Martinelli. And now Arsenal, who are renowned for their set-piece specialism from corner kicks. We know what they love to do is overload the back post. And then as the ball comes in, they split, they move, and they make it really difficult for the opposition defence to work out where they are going. They've got 5 players at the back post. Eberechi Eze is preparing to take this corner kick. What can the Gunners do from here? Cross comes in. It's flicked on at the front post. Ball comes loose in the 6-yard box. Martinelli has a shot, but it's swirling almost towards the corner flag. It's nowhere near the goal in the end. But it was a delicious, dangerous corner kick. The Arsenal players moved from the back post. It was Norgard who flicked the ball on at the near post. I think it went towards Saliba. And Arsenal, one of the Arsenal players, I think it was Jesus, is claiming that there was a handball there. It's hard to tell on the second replay. It might have hit the arm of Cambo. I think it would be very harsh if it did. But there is no video assistant referee, remember. So that will not be checked. Makes this game feel very retro, doesn't it? Very old school. That what happens on the pitch stays on the pitch. It's Ricardo Calafiore. Squares the ball to William Saliba. And look, we're in the 15th minute and Arsenal have had 74% of the possession. Crystal Palace have only had 26%. That is domination so far by Arsenal. Here's Calafiore in Crystal Palace's half. Lewis Skelly into Norgard. Back to Lewis Skelly. He's cutting into the centre of midfield. He plays it to, I think it was Marino. And Arsenal have gone backwards. They now have it Norgard on the left-hand side. He plays it down the line to Martinelli. He'll try to run the fullback once more. He's looked tricky so far. He plays it inside to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly's forced to play it backwards. Good defensive midfield play there by Adam Wharton. Saliba. Madueke back to Saliba. Arsenal being very, very patient in trying to find the gaps in that Crystal Palace defence and through the midfield. As Calafiore brings the ball forward. Bursting run. His pass though is poor. It just goes straight at Chris Richards. He tries to win the ball back from the American. And Crystal Palace will have a throw on the near side. Mikel Arteta not too impressed with what he's seen so far in this game. Arsenal have actually reached the quarterfinals in the last, well, reached it 4 times in the last 6 seasons. But they failed to get through the semi-finals. fact, they reached the semi-finals last season thanks to beating Crystal Palace, as I mentioned, but will they be able to go one better this season, reach the final? Will they be able to lift the trophy for the first time since 1993? Of course, a lot of the Arsenal fans are much more focused on winning the Premier League. They feel like they've got a real opportunity. Manchester City making a lot of changes in the summer. Liverpool making a lot of changes despite winning the league. As Madueke battles with Mitchell. Mitchell gets the touch and Arsenal will have the throw on the far side. That gets a warm round of applause from the home fans. A lot of them wearing Santa hats just 2 days before Christmas. On a cold evening in North London. A lot of scarves, a lot of woolly hats. Home fans will hope that the action on the pitch will keep them warm. We're in the 18th minute. It's goalless between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. Norgard is preparing to take a long throw. He tosses it into the box. It's towards Saliba. Ball bouncing in the box. Palace managed to head it out of their penalty area. Arsenal have it again with Lewis Skelly. He tries to clip the ball over to Gabriel Jesus. He chests it down beautifully. Lays it Eze. Eze gives it back to Gabriel Jesus. He bursts into the box. He tries to cut onto his right foot. Crystal Palace player goes down. Palace managed to clear. I think it was Pino who went down. Palace win the ball back on the right hand side, but Eze is there to help out his defence, and he plays it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga. William Saliba to the right back, Julian Timber. He brings the ball into Palace's half. It goes down the line to Noni Madueke on the far side. Madueke turns, and it looks like he might have just caught the face of a Crystal Palace player who's immediately gone down, holding his face. Madueke is laughing at what is going on there. Oliver Glasner's come over to the fourth official, Andrew Kitchen, saying that there is an elbow there. Pino is holding his jaw. Madueke is laughing. What really happens? I'll have a look at the replay for you. It does look like an elbow has caught Pino. How deliberate it is, I'm not really sure. He does stick his arm out to try and push the player away. And what's really interesting is the referee didn't get a real close look on it. It will be a Palace free kick, but there's no booking, there's no red card, and there's no VAR to have another look. The Palace have the ball on the near side. It's a really poor touch by Cambo, right in front of Arteta. And Arsenal will have a throw on the near side. Not very impressive there by JD Cambo. Summer signing from Toulouse, only 19 years of age. Made 5 appearances in the Premier League so far this season for Oliver Glasner's side, JD Cambo. As I mentioned, Daniel Munoz would normally be the right wing back for Crystal Palace, but he's currently out injured. Palace do have a different option on the bench in Nathaniel Klein, now 34 years of age, the former Liverpool and England right back, of course. Lewis Skelly. Ball goes back to Norgard. It's Paul. Wharton plays the ball into Mateta's feet, but Arsenal win the ball back, and Timber is able to play it to his goalkeeper, Kepa. It's Saliba now for Arsenal. Timber. 20 minutes played at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0. In the EFL Cup, also known as the Carabao Cup. It's the last quarter final of the campaign, and Crystal Palace nick the ball and Mateta's on the run. Really important tackle there from William Saliba. Absolutely brilliant touch there from the French defender. And now Crystal Palace will have to defend as Arsenal try to break. As Eze switches the ball over to Noni Madueke, but Madueke won't reach it. It just had too much flight and too much power on the ball. But that was a good opportunity for Crystal Palace that was thwarted by the defender, William Saliba. It was absolutely brilliant defending. There was some concern whether Mateta would be able to play this game. He has to play a lot up front for Crystal Palace. Of course, they've got a very limited squad. They're playing in this cup competition. They're in the Conference League as well as Arsenal on the attack. Madueke's in the box. Shot comes in. The goalkeeper gets a touch. Palace managed to clear right inside the 6-yard box. It Comes back out wide on this near side to Martinelli. Cambo pushes over. Ball goes out of play, and that's another decent opportunity for Noni Madueke. The ball just lifted over the top. He got in front of the defenders. He got one touch, then he tried to push the ball towards the goal with his second touch. It was Martinelli who flicked over the first time. And you know what? I think Tyrant Mitchell got a little bit of the back of Madueke's shirt there. There's a clear tug, and again, if VAR is here, I think that could be a penalty. I think it's too obvious. And then eventually it was Cambo who was able to clear the ball away in the 6-yard box. And Gabriel Jesus was lurking. But that's two decent opportunities now for Noni Madueke, and both times he's been denied by the Crystal Palace goalkeeper Walter Benitez. Benitez hasn't played in the Premier League this season. It's been Dean Henderson, of course, in goal for the Eagles. Benitez, though, has been their man between the sticks in this competition. Crystal Palace have a free kick right in front of Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is not respecting the technical area for the coaches. He's clearly stood outside. They don't ever stand in these technical areas, do they? They're always standing out of them. They're kind of pointless. Unless they're going to be enforced by the fourth officials. They should probably just get rid of them, because no man... Look, Arteta's practically on the pitch at the moment. Well, the ball is clipped forward towards Mateta. He won't get there. Saliba with the header away. Comes towards Martinelli. Martinelli clips it forward. It comes loose for Eze, who's got the chance to break an attack for Arsenal. It comes out wide to Gabriel Jesus. He's going to try and run at Chris Richards here. Puts a cross in, and it's headed away by Gay. It falls to Martinelli. Wharton's able to get a touch. Headed away by Richards. Cambo. Arsenal have it again. It's Martinelli. Back to Lewis Skelly. Ball goes backwards to Calafiori. I think the danger is over momentarily for Crystal Palace. Ball goes wide to Madueke. He has to clip it back to Timber. Timber will be forced to play it back to Saliba on the halfway line. It's squared to the centre-back partner, Calafiori. And now with the left-back, Lewis Skelly. Down the line to Martinelli. Again, Cambo is right in the face of Martinelli. It's Lewis Skelly. Ball goes back to Calafiori. It's squared to William Saliba. No option forward. He's forced to go backwards. And that is the organisational brilliance of Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace. Eze now has it. Clips it towards Jesus. First time pass back to Lewis Skelly. Comes out wide to Martinelli on this near side. He's so fun to watch. Cross comes in. It's a decent delivery. It's a brilliant header. And it's a sensational save by Walter Benitez. And Gabriel Jesus cannot believe it. It was a perfectly angled header downwards from the Brazilian. And Walter Benitez has made a sensational save there. It was a brilliant teasing cross from Gabriel Martinelli. He found Jesus and he couldn't find the back of the net. As Martinelli's on the attack again, it's a low cross in towards the 6-yard box. It's cleared by Crystal Palace. Comes towards Mateta. He loses possession to Norgard. Norgard plays the ball back to Lewis Skelly. And again, Arsenal have possession with their defenders in Crystal Palace's half. It's Ricardo Calafiori in the centre circle. Christian Norgard, the former Brentford captain. Ball comes out to Martinelli. I think he's enjoying himself against Campo on this left-hand side. There's a poor ball back to him from Lewis Skelly, and Richards now has it. He clips it forward towards Mateta. First time touch isn't a great one. Calafiori was able to get in front of him, and he's able to play it back to his goalkeeper, Kepa. So far, Mateta hasn't really been able to make an impact up front. Hasn't caused the Arsenal defence too many concerns. It's Saliba. Ball goes out to Madueke. And it's now Saliba. Calafiori. Arsenal. Very confident in possession. As I mentioned, they had about 3/4 of the possession in this game. But Crystal Palace are more than happy to play that type of match. This ball comes towards Jesus. Lovely first time touch. It is cut out by Gehi. As he tries to get a foot in, it comes towards Timber, who's right on the left side of midfield at the moment. He's able to get a hold of the ball ahead of Nketiah, and he wins a free kick. Arsenal clip the ball forward. Lacroix with the header. Wharton can't keep it down. Marino is trying to get through 2 Crystal Palace players. He gets bundled over, but play continues. Arsenal have it again with Eze. Wharton is down. He's screaming at the referee. He's back on his feet. Eze squares the ball to Norga. Norga chips it forward. Clips off the head of Gehi. Headed away. Richards clears it high in the sky, and Nketiah's battling with Lewis Skelly. Norga gets a header in. There's Eze now. Ball comes out wide to Martinelli. What can he do now? He's been tricky so far in this game. He's running at Canva. Comes onto his left foot. Can he get crossway? He does towards the back post. It's just a little heavy, and Gehi goes safety first. Puts the ball out for a corner kick. But if it continues this way, I think Canvo might get an early bath at half-time. He's really struggled against Martinelli. I think we might see Nathaniel Klein sooner rather than later. And listen to this. In the last 5 minutes, Arsenal have had 92% of the possession. They nearly took the lead thanks to a header from Gabriel Jesus. But Walter Benitez did brilliantly to dive down low to his left to keep the ball out at the far post. But it's Arsenal who have a corner kick now. It's Noni Madueke preparing to take it with his left foot. Cross comes in towards the near post again. Head away by Mateta. Drops towards Eze. Referee blows for a free kick for a foul on Pino as Calafiore swiped at a shot which went over the bar. Not really sure what the transgression was for. Perhaps maybe for the foul by Eze. Couldn't quite see on the first replay. I think Mikel Arteta was pleased enough with that opportunity for Arsenal as Walter Benitez just prepares to take this free kick for Palace. It really was a tremendous save from that Gabriel Jesus header. Jesus could not believe he hadn't scored. He thought he'd done everything right there. It was a textbook header. It was perfect. He just couldn't find the back of the net. Header is won by Marino. Calafiore with the header. Marino clips the ball away. It's towards Jesus. He's battling with Gehi. Gehi gets in front of the ball and he wins it. He plays it inside. Crystal Palace win a free kick on the halfway line. It was a foul on Jefferson Lerma by Marino. Walter Benitez, of course, a summer signing from PSV Eindhoven, the Argentinian. As Mikel Arteta just passes over some information from his technical area. Well, I can't actually see if he's technically in his technical area from the angle I'm looking at him right now, but I'm assuming he's not in it, as we've seen so far in this game. The Crystal Palace medical team is just looking at Jefferson Lerma's top lip. He might have a busted lip here, just making sure that it's not busted open. Of course, we can't have any blood on the field of play, so just making sure that he'll be okay to continue very, very shortly. Of course, he's back in the side today. Will Hughes on the bench, the former Watford and Derby central midfielder, of course. This has been a tough game for Crystal Palace so far. They've had to do a lot of defending. Arsenal very much with a lot of possession. They've been on the front foot for a lot of the game. Actually, while we wait, I'll give you a quick heads up on who the substitutes are for both sides this evening. For Arsenal, it's Raya, Saka, Odegaard, Gyökeres, Trossard, Nwaneri, Zubamende, Rice, and 16-year-old Marley Salmon. That's a really strong substitutes bench, isn't it? As for Palace, it's Henderson, Uche, Klein, Hughes, Esse, Sosa, Rodney, Devaney, and Drakes Thomas. There's definitely a handful of Premier League regulars on the bench for Crystal Palace, but it really isn't as strong as Arsenal's bench, is it? Well, Crystal Palace have a free kick just inside Arsenal's half of the pitch. Yeremy Pino launches it forward, and it's really, really poor. It's far too direct. It doesn't find any of the players. I wasn't sure if he was almost shooting there. That was dreadful. Arsenal take the goal kick quickly. Now with Saliba. Ball goes out to Jurrien Timber. Saliba once more. Here's Mikel Merino. Merino just brings the ball to the halfway line. He plays it back to Riccardo Calafiori. Calafiori just treads on the ball on the halfway line. He squares it to Lewis Skelly. Arsenal just dominating possession. They had a couple of chances. Madueke's had a couple. Jesus had a brilliant header saved by Benitez. But with over a half an hour gone, it remains goalless between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. As Timber tries to make way on the right hand side, but the ball runs out of play and Palace have a throw. Crystal Palace would love for another Wembley final. 2 games away. Wharton with a touch. It comes towards Mateta. Tries to hold off Saliba, but Lewis Skelly has the ball for Arsenal. Lerma with the tackle. Mateta plays it to Nketiah. He's got support from Camvo. Decides to go himself, Nketiah. Shot comes in, but it's cleared by Norgard, and Arsenal will pass their way out of their penalty box. It's Eze. Eze runs into Lerma. The referee blows his whistle, and Arsenal will have a free kick. Lerma really does have a bit of a busted lip. And it's Jean-Philippe Mateta who's the player that Crystal Palace need to get more involved in this match. He's such a handful, but he's yet to really cause this Arsenal defence too many troubles so far in this game. As Calafiori has the ball, he squares it to his centre-back partner, William Saliba. Calafiori again. Calafiori, who's been at Arsenal now for nearly 18 months following his move from Bologna. Nketiah has the ball for Palace. Camvo just about keeps the ball in play. Tries to play it down the line. It was well read by Lewis Skelly. Martinelli tries to knock the ball past Chris Richards. He's unable to, so now Jesus has it. It's a really poor pass to Norgard. Norgard has to stick his leg out. Pino went down. No foul. Arsenal have the ball. Back with Timber in a more central area again. Merino tries to thread it forward. It's Eze. Lays the ball off to Jesus. It's a poor first touch, and Chris Richards has to come in and clear. Jesus is down. That's the one thing that the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal medical team won't want to see. The brilliant ball towards Eze. He laid it up for Jesus. Jesus was able to get the ball past Lacroix, but Richards came in with a really important challenge. Jesus is back on his feet. He's limping. Of course, he's had so many injury troubles over the years. He gives a thumbs up. He'll be okay. It's a long throw from Arsenal towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Ball is flicked on. It's headed away by Gehi. Mateta just nods the ball out of danger, and it'll go out for another Arsenal throw. It will be Norgard again to try and launch it in. Can Arsenal make the most of this set piece? Saliba, Calafiori, both in the box. Long throw from Norgard. Comes off the head of a Crystal Palace player, and eventually it's cleared. Comes back out to Norgard. Goes wide to Saliba of all people. First time pass to Timber. Clever pass. Cross comes in from Timber. Richards is able to flick the ball away, and Arsenal have a corner kick. Mikel Arteta applauds that play. There's a nice teasing cross there from Jurrien Timber. Just couldn't find his target. So Eze is preparing to take the corner kick from the near side. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger from the former Palace man. Cross comes in. It's a very deep one. Palace managed to get ahead to the ball. Mitchell will try to clear. He kicks it high into the sky. Lewis Skelly should get there first. He misses the ball. Fortunately for him, Calafiori is there to help, and then Lewis Skelly is down holding his face, and I think it will be a free kick because of a foul by Jefferson Lerma. I think the referee has just said that is 3 infringements now by Lerma. There was a real shove there by the former Bournemouth midfielder. That's a foul every day of the week. Skelly is back on his feet. Arsenal have a free kick. They've got the opportunity to drift the ball into the penalty box if they wish. Eze is over the ball. I think they might just play it short. They do have the opportunity to go longer if they want. Timbers forward. Marino's a target. And he just squares it to Saliba, as I expected they would do. Ball goes back to Eze. Ball goes wide on the right hand side to Madueke. Cross comes in. Decent delivery. Mateta is able to help his defence, and it should be a goal kick because the ball hit Gabriel Jesus last. He says it didn't. Mikel Arteta is disagreeing with that decision as well. But it will be a goal kick again. No VAR tonight. Having a look at the replay, to me that looked like it came straight off the head of Jean-Philippe Mateta. VAR gets a lot of criticism, but when it's not hit, you really do notice it. Not that VAR would get involved in that decision. They don't get involved in things like corners, for example, but it does just feel like it's missing. Anyway, Walter Benitez with the goal kick for Crystal Palace. He's had a really good game so far. Crystal Palace number 2. Well, technically is number 44 of all numbers. Anyway, Marc Guéhi has the ball on the halfway line for Crystal Palace. He plays the ball back to Maxence Lacroix. Comes over to Cava. Really loose, heavy touch from the 19-year-old. But he twists, he turns, he gets away from danger. And he'll play the ball back to Chris Richards. There's Lacroix. Not very often that Crystal Palace are able to get a little bit of possession in this game, as Benitez now has it. He squares it to Richards. Arsenal starting to press high. Jesus is coming towards the goalkeeper. Benitez tries to spread it into the middle of the field. Norgard wins the header. Wharton. Pino can't get a touch. Calafiore is dominant. And now Lewis Skelly has it for the Gunners. Trying to get away from Pino. Pino's all over him. Ateta is screaming at the referee, but Lewis Skelly still has the ball. He loses possession to Wharton. And eventually, Arsenal get a free kick. They try and take it quickly, but the referee blows his whistle. That was a really clever pass by Lewis Skelly to Mikel Merino, and Arteta is furious that he wasn't allowed to take that. And in fact, the referee Stuart Atwell has come over to have a conversation with Mikel Arteta. It's just a warning, as Arteta is literally on the pitch right now, speaking to Calafiore. Not just out of his technical zone, but he's on the pitch. Anyway, Arsenal have a free kick right in front of the Gunners' dugout. The Crystal Palace medical team are just looking at one of the Crystal Palace players at the moment. I didn't quite see who it was, but Eze has the ball. He plays inside to Calafiore. Ball comes out wide on the near side to Martinelli. Arsenal on the attack. Cross comes into the box. It's a delicious delivery. It's headed clear by Crystal Palace. Wharton leaves it for Nketiah. It's poor by Nketiah. He just kicks it off Calafiore. Ball is out with Martinelli on the left-hand side again. He's racing at the Palace defence. Ball is playing to Lewis Skelly. He hooks out across. It comes to Madueke. Shot comes in. It's straight at Benitez, who makes the save. And it goes out for another corner kick. While it was close to him, there was lots of venom on the strike from Madueke. And Benitez again does really well to keep this game goalless. A fierce shot from Madueke. It didn't have a lot of accuracy because it was straight at the goalkeeper, but it was well saved again by the Argentinian. He's certainly been the star of this match so far. Arsenal. A corner kick in the 41st minute. Cross comes in. It's a decent delivery. It's cleared at the near post by Lacroix. And then Palace get the ball away. It comes back to Lewis Skelly. Madueke, first time cross. Decent delivery. Headed out by Lacroix again. Drops to Martinelli on the edge of the area. Cross comes in with his right foot. It's a deep one. It's too deep. It's just about kept in. It's not cleared, and Wharton has to hook it away for Palace. Saliba will keep it in play on the far side. Arsenal keep on pushing. They keep coming forward. Cross comes in from Saliba. It's decent. It's punched away by Benitez. Lerma misses the header. Calafiore wins it. Flicked on by Madueke. Lacroix clears again. Wharton nods the ball on. Saliba has it. Clever footwork from Saliba. That guy's a centre-back. That was brilliant. It's Martinelli. on the left-hand side, onto his left foot, tries to get a cross in. He hesitates, cross comes in with his right foot. It drops towards Timber, hits it on the volley, it comes off a Crystal Palace player, and Benitez just about stops the ball from going out for a corner kick. We're in the 42nd minute. This is the EFL Cup quarter-final between Arsenal and Crystal Palace at the Emirates Stadium in North London, England, and it's currently still goalless. Long clearance from Benitez. Noga flicks the ball back to Calafiore. Calafiore will cushion it back to his goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga, who has not touched the ball for a very long period of time. It's Lewis Skelly down the line to Martinelli. Will Arsenal get the breakthrough before half-time? He's twisting, he's turning. Canvo's on the floor. Martinelli's got past him. He's broken into the box. Cross comes in, and it's a header towards the back post by Timber, and it's over the bar. He can't believe it. The Arsenal fans applaud. Martinelli's been brilliant. Canvo is just falling on the ground. He cannot cope with Martinelli at all. He's been absolutely brilliant, Martinelli. And I think Canvo might be having a shower at half-time. And Jurriën Timber knows that that was a really, really good opportunity to give Arsenal the lead. They've had plenty of them. They just haven't been able to take them. I do wonder what Arteta's comments will be at half-time. I would suspect that it'll be like, we're playing well, we're just not getting the ball into the back of the net, but it will come. I think that would be what Arteta will say to his team, because I don't think Crystal Palace are going to change how they're playing. As Mitchell cuts the pass out. So far, Arsenal have had 10 shots, Palace have had 2. It felt like a lot more, and 4 of them have been on target for Arsenal. None of them have been on target for Crystal Palace. But I think Arteta will ask for more of the same in the second half. I think Crystal Palace will try and just continue to sit in and just hope that they can get a break at some stage in this game. Of course, Arteta has got so many good options on the bench. So many strong players who can unlock a defence or score a goal, from the likes of Saka, Odegaard, Gyökeres, Trossard, Nwaneri. So many good options. Even then, players like Zubamende and Rice are able to play really good passes through the lines. We are approaching half-time at the Emirates. We're in the 45th minute. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the EFL Cup quarter-finals. The winners of tonight's contest will face Chelsea in the semi-finals, as Nathaniel Klein is warming up on the sidelines. I think you can almost guarantee that he will be on the pitch at the start of the second half for Crystal Palace. It's a long Palace throw by Lerma. Ball bounces in the box, but Mateta won't get there. Saliba will get there before him. Kepa releases the ball quickly, and Arsenal are on the attack with a break on the far side. It's Madueke. He's running at Mitchell. He breaks into the box. He plays it down the line to Timber. He hooks the ball over the top towards Martinelli. He tries to square it to Eze. It's cut out by Wharton. Shot comes in from Lewis Skelly. And Crystal Palace are able to clear. We're in first half stoppage time. It's Calafiore. We're going to have 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half. It's Kepa over to William Saliba. Mikel Merino. Ricardo Calafiore in the centre circle for Arsenal. It's Lewis Skelly now. Down the line to Gabriel Martinelli. He's going to try and run at the defender. He's cutting inside. Ball goes back to Noga. Switches it over to Saliba. It's Timber. It's Madueke. He's twisting. He's turning. Really good tackle there by Mitchell. Arsenal have the ball again. It's Calafiore. I think he thought about shooting there right in the middle of Crystal Palace's half. I think he was going to be that bold. He didn't do it. Arsenal have the ball with Timber. It's Saliba. It's Calafiore again. right in the heart of Crystal Palace's half. Lewis Skelly out to Martinelli. He's had a great first half. He's going to try and run at Canvo one more time. And there's a foul there, and it's a clear free kick for Arsenal. Canvo given up, trying to be honest against Martinelli, and just clearly fouls the Brazilian who has embarrassed him in the first half. But Martinelli hasn't gone straight back up. He's in a little bit of pain. He's holding just the outside of his right knee. I did mention Arsenal have got lots of options going forward, the likes of Leandro Trossard, but Gabriel Martinelli has been in fine form in this first half. That would be the one player they wouldn't want to come off injured so far in this game. The medical team is now checking on the Brazilian. Mikel Merino is coming to check on him as well. Merino wearing the captain's armband this evening. Of course, there's no Odegaard or Saka or Rice in the Arsenal first 11. He's just being checked on as Walter Benitez watches on. He's had a really good first half for Crystal Palace. He has kept his side in it. He's made a couple of saves from Noni Madueke, but crucially it was that brilliant stop from the header of Gabriel Jesus has been the difference between the two sides. In fact, he made 3 good saves from Madueke. He's going to have to be alert one more time in this half. We've now had over 3 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. We were only meant to have 2, but of course Martinelli is down. He is looking pretty uncomfortable. His face is wincing, but he is giving the impression that he is willing to continue. I think he realises that this Arsenal side has so many, there are so many competition for places that he doesn't want to lose this position. He wants to make it his. He wants to stake his claim for this left side of the attack, because Trossard, of course, played at the weekend in this role against Everton. So he is hobbling. I think he'll hope that he can see through the remaining 30 seconds and then have the 15-minute rest. Arsenal down to 10 at the moment. Norgard is preparing to take a long throw. Told the cameraman to get out the way because he prepares to launch it. Launch into the box by Norgard. Palace clear through Mateta. Comes towards Calafiori. He brings the ball down. It's a poor touch though. Cambo with a heavy touch. Being closed down by Marino. His ball down the line is cut out by Norgard and the ball goes out of play for a Crystal Palace throw on the near side. And the referee blows his whistle for half time. Crystal Palace have Walter Benitez to thank. The Crystal Palace goalkeeper made 3 saves off Noni Madueke, and he made a brilliant stop from a header by Gabriel Jesus. So that means at half time in this EFL Cup quarter-final, it's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot
think Nathaniel Klein is in the box as well. Of course, Mateta is a really good target. The big, bustling centre forward. Klein is just on the toes of Arrizabalaga. Cross will come from this near side for Crystal Palace. Corner comes in towards the near post, but it hits the side netting. Slight concern for a moment, I think, for Kepa Arrizabalaga, but was never really in danger. It was Jeremy Pino with the corner kick, and now Arsenal try to play it out from the back. It goes to Timber. Ball comes inside to Mikel Merino. Comes over to Eze. First time touch to Calafiori. He's got Lewis Skelly to his left. He gives it to Lewis Skelly, who has to play it back. First time to the Italian defender, Riccardo Calafiori. It goes across to Saliba, right on the edge of Arsenal's penalty box. It's Timber being closed down by two Crystal Palace players. He does manage to find Madueke, and he loses control of the ball, and it comes out for a Crystal Palace throw just near the halfway line. As Arteta is passing on some instructions to Timber of exactly what he wants the right back to do. Timber, who had been in fine form at right back, and then Ben White came back into the team after a long absence. Played pretty well, but he's out injured again. Palace try to come away with the ball. Devaney is clearly pulled there by Norgard, but actually Norgard wins the free kick. Arsenal take it quickly. Marino has the ball at his feet, but the referee wants the free kick to be taken again. Rare start for Christian Norgard, following his move from Brentford. Really experienced player. Danish midfielder, 31 years of age. As Crystal Palace clear the ball, it comes to Adam Wharton, the England international. Highly talented player in the centre of midfield for Crystal Palace. As cliche as it sounds, but he does have a wonderful left foot. Ball forward is cut out by Norgard. Eze to Norgard. He's on the halfway line. Ball is played through to Marino. Lovely pass forward to Jesus. He gets a kick for his troubles from Lacroix. No free kick is given. Palace have the ball at the feet of Walter Benitez. And then Jesus is just hammering his hand on the ground in pain. The referee has just blown his whistle to check on the Brazilian. He's not happy at all about that challenge from Lacroix. It does feel that at times Jesus needs to be wrapped up in wool, because he's a bit of a China doll who's been injured so many times since his move from Manchester City. Walter Benitez slowly takes his time to pick up the ball. In the 56th minute, it's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the EFL Cup, also known as the Carabao Cup. Norgard gets a foot in. Wharton's able to play the ball back to the right-sided centre-half Chris Richards. His ball forward is poor. It will go all the way to the Arsenal goalkeeper for this evening, wearing all green, Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's William Saliba. Saliba looking for options forward. He has to go sideways, almost backwards to Calafiori. Lewis Skelly, though, has a little bit more room on this left-hand side. He's running forward. Devaney tracks the run, and Lewis Skelly has to play it back to Riccardo Calafiori. Again, it's with Saliba. Saliba cuts forward. Pino falls to the ground. Lovely first-time touch by Madueke, but Palace are able to defend it, and Arsenal have a throw on the near side. Oliver Glasner applauds his team's organisational skills. Timber throws the ball down the line. Looks like Leandro Trossard is preparing to come on for Arsenal. It's Lerma for Palace. Lacroix, he lifts it forward towards Mateta. Calafiori was strong there. He won the ball really well. Saliba goes long. It's to the feet of Jesus. That was brilliant. It's out with Madueke on the right hand side. He's running at the Palace defence. Cross comes in with the right foot. It's too heavy. It does drop to Eze. Shot is blocked by Nathaniel Klein. It's Jesus on the edge of the area. Wharton gets a foot in. Really good tackle there from Adam Wharton, and Palace play the ball out of danger. Mateta plays it back to Klein. Great play by Klein to get away from Eze. That was brilliant from the substitute. It's Mateta now. He squares it inside to Lerma. Mark Gehi in Arsenal's half. This is much better from Palace. Ball comes out to Mitchell. Gehi again. It's Lerma. Gehi. Lerma again. Ball goes wide to Chris Richards. Crystal Palace with a spell of possession. Hasn't happened too often in this game. Richards once more. Pass to Lacroix is heavy, but it's fine because it will find Gehi. Wharton wants it. Wharton gets it. He plays it forward to Mateta. He gives it back to Wharton. Lovely touch. Wharton goes for a shot with his right foot, and it just goes wide of the post, and that was a massive opportunity for Crystal Palace. And you do wonder if it had been on his stronger foot, his left foot, I think Wharton might have found the back of the net, but he just dragged his shot just wide of the post. He hit it pretty nicely. He just couldn't find the back of the net. The goalkeeper, Kepa, was scrambling. He wasn't going to get there. It was brilliant build-up play. It was a lovely touch by Mateta, and it was a really good opportunity for Crystal Palace. And Arsenal, moments ago, I think they thought they might have had a penalty from that shot by Eze and the block by Nathaniel Klein. I think it might have just hit Klein high on the arm, maybe near the shoulder. Would have been interesting if VAR had been in operation tonight. I think they would have had a closer look at that, but it is the end of the game for Gabriel Martinelli in the 59th minute. He was sensational in that first half. He did pick up an injury towards the end of it. I think they tried to give him another 15 minutes, but I think they aren't going to risk it. They brought on the experienced Belgian, Leandro Trossard, as Mikel Merino has the ball. He's knocked over, but Palace have possession. The referee waves play on. It's Wharton over to Mitchell. Arteta is screaming. He's trying to get organised at the back. It's Wharton. He lifts it over to Klein. Klein heads it forward. It's going to be one for Devaney to try and battle with Lewis Skelly, but Lewis Skelly wins and he plays it back to Kepa, and Kepa clears. Ball comes all the way to Lacroix towards Wharton. Here's Gehi. Wharton into the feet of Pino. Really good turn from the former Villarreal man. He spreads it out to Klein, who's in space on the far side. He looks up. Cross comes in. It's decent delivery. It's headed away by Norgard. It drops towards Gehi. He can't control it very well. He's able to play it back to Mitchell, though. Ball is squared to Pino on the edge of the box. Back to Gehi. Cross comes in with the right foot. It's going to come off the head of a Palace player, but it's cleared by Arsenal. And Calafiore applauds the defending of Arsenal there to cope with that Palace pressure. Palace pressure, that was a phrase I didn't use at all in the first half. Arsenal have had 39 touches in their opponent's box. Palace have only had 6. I think probably most of them have come in the last few minutes. It's Jefferson Lerma cleaning the ball with the inside of his shirt, preparing to launch a long throw into the penalty box. Richards is forward. So is Lacroix. Towards Richards, it's just a little heavy, and it bounces towards Kepa Arrizabalaga, and he just about gathers the ball at the second attempt. He was falling backwards right on the line. The throw was so long from Lerma, it went past all the players. It bounced just inside the 6-yard box. It should have been an easy catch for Kepa. He needed a second attempt, and it remains goalless. It's Noni Madueke. He can't find a teammate because he had 3 Palace players around him. The ball goes out for a throw-in for Arsenal, and it will be Arsenal's turn, if they want it, to launch a long throw. It's Christian Norgard coming over to take it, so I would suspect he is going to try and throw a long ball into the box. Calafiore and Saliba have gone forwards. Lacroix and Richards are marking those players very tightly. It's a long throw from Norgard. Comes back towards the Dane. It's a high foot from the Dane, surely. I'm amazed that's not a free kick, but Arsenal have the ball again. It comes back to Norgard. It's now a Saliba of all people. We're on the edge of the area. Back to Norgard. First time cross. Decent delivery towards the back post. Headed into the sky by Klein and headed away by Richards. Calafiore can't get a clean touch. Comes to Eze. It's Leandro Trossard now. Ball goes back to Calafiori. William Saliba is in the centre circle. Inside to Marino. Lovely touch there and pass to Madueke on the right hand side. He's going to try and run at Mitchell. Plays it into the feet of Marino. He tries to give it back to Madueke, but he is well defended by Gehi. Crystal Palace win a free kick for a foul on Wharton. About 15 yards outside of their penalty area. Of course, this match is a rematch of the quarterfinals of this competition last season between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. Of course, Gabriel Jesus scored a hat-trick in that game. Actually, Arsenal have won 7 of their last 8 meetings with Crystal Palace in all competitions. But they are yet to find the breakthrough this evening. It's still goalless. We're in the 64th minute at the Emirates, North London. It's a cold winter evening. Maxence Lacroix has the ball at his feet for Crystal Palace. He passes it over to the right-sided centre-half, Chris Richards. It's a poor pass. Jesus wins the ball back. Trossard now has it on the far side. There's an option inside. Brilliant recovery defended by Klein. And Lacroix is able to clear for Palace. He'll drop towards Calafiori. He won't be able to control it first time. But he still has the ball without any pressure from any Crystal Palace forwards. Ball is played to William Saliba. It's over to Lewis Skelly. Here's Norgard on the halfway line. He's able to open his body up and face forward. He plays it to Eze. Eze's had a relatively quiet game. He had that opportunity a few moments ago where his shot was blocked by Nathaniel Klein as the ball goes out wide to Trossard. He feints across. He plays it inside to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly is trying to burst past 2 players. Trossard with the cross. Comes towards Noni Madueke. Arsenal want a corner. They're going to get it. In fact, no, they're not. The referee's going to give a goal kick. Madueke is pretty upset about that. He feels it came on Gehi. I'm not so sure it did. It doesn't matter. The referee is giving a goal kick. Lots for Mikel Arteta to think about. This is actually a run of 3 home games for Arsenal over the winter period. This is the first of 3. They then face Brighton on December the 27th at home, and then they're back at the Emirates 3 days later to face high-flying Aston Villa. Aston Villa who've been in fantastic form this season. And it does look like Arsenal are about to make a change. Bukayo Saka, their brilliant England international winger, will shortly be joining the action as Madueke tries to find Eze. Wharton again with a brilliant challenge. He's been excellent in midfield for Crystal Palace. Arsenal have it again though with Trossard. Wants to play it through to Madueke. It goes back to Eze. It's now with Norgard right by the centre spot. Plays it to his right to Saliba. Goes back to Calafiori. And now with Lewis Skelly on the halfway line. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0. Eberechi Eze brings the ball forward on the far side. Goes to Leandro Trossard. Deveni comes over. That surely a free kick. Deveni can't believe it, but that's as obvious a free kick as you'll see. And talking about bringing on the big guns, Arsenal are bringing on 2 of their superstars. They bring on their skipper, Martin Ødegaard, and they're also going to bring on their vice-captain, one of the most talented players they've had in many, many years, Bukayo Saka. We'll see what they will be able to do with the remaining 23 minutes or so. Eberechi Eze is one of the players coming off. That will likely be a like-for-like substitution in the centre of midfield between Eze and Ødegaard. And it's also the end of the game for Noni Madueke. Madueke passes on the captain's armband to Martin Ødegaard. And Madueke is being replaced by Bukayo Saka. Can Arsenal's star boy be the star man in this game? We are yet to see a goal. Will we see it in the remaining 20 minutes or so? We're on the 68th minute. We are approaching 70 minutes is what I meant to say. It's Martin Ødegaard preparing to take the free kick. Arsenal moving on the edge of the box. Cross comes in, it's a poor one. Mitchell's able to clear it. Comes to Trossard. He's twisting his turning, gives it to Timber. Saliba. It's Ødegaard. Out wide to Trossard. Ødegaard again. Trossard once more. Goes back to Lewis Skelly. Trossard again on the far side. Plays the ball to Calafiori, gives it back to Trossard, who breaks into the box, tries to put a cross across the 6-yard box, it's blocked by Mateta. Norgard comes over, he kicks the ball off Tyrek Mitchell, and it will be a corner kick to Arsenal. That was a really clever interchange of passes between Trossard and Calafiori. Trossard squared the ball across the edge of the penalty box to Calafiori. He then played a ball right into the box that Trossard ran onto. The cross was intercepted by Mateta. So Arsenal have a corner kick on the far side. It'll be Leandro Trossard, formerly of Brighton and Hove Albion, who Arsenal face next. What can the Belgium international do from this set piece? It's Trossard. The Arsenal players are moving in the box. Cross comes in. That's going to be too close to the goalkeeper. He's able to punch it away. Saliba was right on his toes though. Comes back out to Trossard on the far side. Plays it back into Calafiori right on the edge of the area. It's back with Ødegaard. He has to play it backwards to Lewis Skelly. Ødegaard once more. He looks up. Cross comes in. Decent delivery. And the header comes in. It just flashes wide. And it's Gabriel Jesus. He did brilliantly to win the header in front of the defender. It was low down again, but this time he couldn't find the corner of the goal, and this time it would have beaten Walter Benitez. Benitez made a sensational save from a Jesus header in the first half. That would have beaten the goalkeeper. He just couldn't angle it on goal, and it remains goalless. Arteta applauds the play. Jesus is starting to think, will I get my goal this evening? I got 3 in this fixture. About this time last year, I've had 2 good headers. He's giving thumbs up. He's trying to get the crowd going. He wants the Emirates to make some noise. Although this is a slight worry for Crystal Palace. There is a injury at the moment to Chris Richards, the American international, their right-sided centre half. As I mentioned, Crystal Palace's strength in depth is not the same as Arsenal's. They don't have too many options on the bench. The remaining substitutes are goalkeeper Henderson, then you've got Uche, Hughes, Esse, Sosa, Rodney and Drapes Thomas. So Oliver Glasner just has a conversation with his assistants. It does look like Will Hughes might be the player who comes on. Then you would expect perhaps Jefferson Lerma to help out in the back 3, and there's actually a lot of blood from what I can see in around Chris Richards' foot. I don't know whether he got trod on by Gabriel Jesus in that attack, and Hughes has now put his shirt on but then put a training top on top of that. Oliver Glasner has wanted to get an update on the situation with Richards before he has to make a decision. Richards has been such an integral part of Oliver Glasner's defence. That is a player in a position that they won't want to change, as Lacroix comes and checks on the American, the former Bayern Munich defender. Chris Richards, now 25 years of age, a regular, but the stretcher is being walked onto the pitch. So it is going to be unlikely that Richards is unable to continue for this evening's contest, and that will be a concern for the busy festive period for Crystal Palace. Like Arsenal, their next 2 games will both be at home in the English Premier League. And this is actually the first of 3 London derbies in a row for Crystal Palace. The next one is against Arsenal's great rivals at home at Selhurst Park, December the 28th against Tottenham Hotspur. And then they face Fulham at home on January the 1st, New Year's Day 2026. I can't believe this year's gone already. Anyway, Chris Richards is in a bit of pain, and I think they are a little bit concerned about him. It will certainly be the end of his match now that the stretcher is on. Walter Benitez has just come over to speak to his defender, Lacroix. Benitez, who has been tremendous in goal for Crystal Palace this evening. Dean Henderson has been such a crucial part of Oliver Glassen's team in between the sticks. He had a brilliant game as Palace won the FA Cup final. But it's Benitez who's in today. Oliver Glassen has just come over and spoken to the fourth official, and he has simulated the motion of a stamp. And I think he is indicating that there was a stamp involved on Chris Richards that has caused this injury. I don't know if it was what happened with the header from Gabriel Jesus. I think Jesus did get in front of Richards for the header. I've yet to see another replay on my monitor. It's not looking very good for Chris Richards. Now slightly concerned about his right foot, about his right ankle. There are certainly enough people from the medical profession around him ready to lift him up off a stretcher. He's very conscious, by the way. They will get him to his feet very, very shortly. Of course, Crystal Palace have had a pretty good run in this competition. They beat Millwall on penalties. And it was Richards' goal in the 1-1 draw before they won on the penalty shootout. And then they beat Liverpool 3-0 away. And it does look like it was during that header that Gabriel Jesus tried to make that Richards picked up this injury. I didn't see clearly that it was Jesus who trod on Richards, but it was certainly during that incident. But Chris Richards is off. He's being replaced by Will Hughes. So as I said, I suspect that Will Hughes will now play in the centre of midfield, as he does pretty regularly these days for Palace alongside Adam Wharton. And then Jefferson Lerma will join the back three. Not the change Oliver Glasner was hoping to make at this stage of the contest, as Gabriel Jesus has the chance to break away from Lacroix. Lacroix has come back to make the challenge, and Jesus goes for the shot, but he can't get it on target. And Arsenal nearly had a huge opportunity. It was Saka who headed the ball forward. Jesus raced onto it. Lacroix came over, shot came in, and he just couldn't get it on target. Gabriel Jesus. He's been a handful for Crystal Palace, but he just hasn't been able to find the back of the net for the Gunners. So it will be a Crystal Palace goal kick. Play is back underway. We're in the 76th minute. Play must have stopped for at least 6 or 7 minutes because of that injury to Chris Richards. So I suspect we'll get at least that at the end of the 90 if we're still goal. Well, it doesn't matter if we're still goalless, but at the end of the 90, as Wharton does brilliantly to get the ball away from Mikel Merino and release it over to Tyrick Mitchell. Of course, this game should go straight to penalties if it remains goalless. There's no extra time at this stage of the competition. It's Lacroix. Into Wharton, over to Hughes. He's trying to get away from Saka. Saka's battling with Hughes, and Hughes will win a free kick. Palace have the free kick on the halfway line, and Hughes just walks away from the ball. He'll leave it for Gehi. Ball comes inside to Wharton. Goes back to Lacroix. Lerma now, the right-sided centre-half. It's exactly as I suspected. Lacroix. Ball goes back to the goalkeeper, Walter Benitez. He might need to be the hero if this game does go to penalties. Wharton. Ball is headed on by Marino. It's hooked forward by Lacroix. Mateta can't control it. Norgard with a really heavy challenge, but Palace have the ball. They've got the chance to break. Pino tries to play into the field. Mateta, he comes over. It's a really important challenge by Saliba, who gets to the ball just in front of the Palace forwards and the Arsenal goalkeeper Kepa, who'd come off his line. There's Devaney into Pino. Pino slipped it towards Mateta, just raced away from Mateta, and that allowed Saliba to get a crucial interception in. That's another good opportunity for Crystal Palace. They barely had any in the first half, but they're creating more opportunities in the second. So it's a Crystal Palace corner kick. Will be taken from the far side. Will be Adam Wharton with his left foot. Cross comes in towards the near post. And it has to be cleared off the line. I think it was Kepa who did get the touch. Wharton again, deep cross comes in, ball comes loose, right by the penalty spot. Lerma to Hughes, ball is pinballing in the box. Arsenal managed to get away with it. Palace have the ball again. It's Wharton once more to Hughes. And that's a really important challenge by William Saliba. That was class, and then Trossard pirouettes out of danger for the Gunners. Saliba inside to Ødegaard. Trossard's on the attack here. He's running at the heart of the Palace defence. He plays it to his left to Marino. Shot comes in and it's saved by Benitez again from Jesus. A terrific save from the Argentinian goalkeeper. He immediately goes down to stretch his right foot like he's got cramp. But that was a brilliant flowing move from the Gunners. Trossard played it to his left. Marino laid it up to Gabriel Jesus. He opened up his body. He hit the shot sweetly, but it was too close to the goalkeeper, and it was a right palm save by Walter Benitez. Absolutely brilliant, and Arsenal have a corner. It's Bukayo Saka. What can Saka do from this corner? Cross comes in. It's a deep one. It's headed by Calafiori. Ball is loose in the 6-yard box, and the ball finds the back of the net. And Saliba and Calafiori race over to celebrate with Bukayo Saka. Arsenal finally have the breakthrough in the 80th minute. It was a brilliant teasing delivery from Saka. Calafiori got a header, and I think in the end it might have come off a Crystal Palace player. Benitez can't believe it. He's worked so hard to keep a clean sheet for Crystal Palace against the Gunners, but Saka has made an almost immediate impact for Arsenal. It was his corner towards the back post. It hit Calafiori's head. The ball came loose, and I think it might have hit William Saliba last of all people. Calafiori's header was defended on the line, and it came off. I think it did come off Saliba in the end. It really is hard to tell. There's so many bodies in the 6-yard box. And you know what? I think it's come off Lacroix. I think Lacroix has stuck out a right toe to get the ball away from Saliba. And I think it's come off Maxence Lacroix. And then it's gone through the goalkeeper Benitez and Mateta. And it will go down as a Maxence Lacroix own goal. He's played really well at the heart of the Crystal Palace defence, but it might be his own goal that is the difference between the two sides. It's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0, and we have just under 9 minutes remaining. Norgard clears the ball for Arsenal. Header is won by Gehi. Comes towards Pino. Wharton loses out on possession to Ødegaard. Lacroix tries a strong challenge. It's a really big challenge from Lerma. Arsenal have it again. It's Trossard. Back to Calafiori. It's Saliba. Into Norgard. Back to William Saliba. He hooks it forward. It's towards Saka. Gehi wins the header. He heads over to Lacroix. Not a very good touch from Lacroix. The ball is stolen off Gehi by Jesus. He looks up. He's only got Saka in the box. Lacroix's done really well to stop the attack there, and then the ball is just kicked out of play by Mitchell. Jesus knows he should have done a little bit better there, but all credit to Maxence Lacroix. He's trying to recover from the own goal he just scored. That is often the danger of being a defender, isn't it? You can play really, really, really well for 80 minutes and then one rogue touch and you score an own goal and your team lose. They haven't lost yet though. We're in the 83rd minute. It's Arsenal 1, it's Crystal Palace 0. But Arsenal have the opportunity to throw a long throw. It's Christian Norgard tossing the ball right onto the edge of the 6-yard box. It's flicked on by Calafiori. Ball comes back out to Norgard. He hits it on the volley. That's not going to trouble the goalkeeper Benitez, and it will be a goal kick. Ball just drifting wide off the far post as Oliver Glasner has a conversation with his assistants. He's got to work out what his team have to do differently in the remaining 7 minutes plus stoppage time. As you'd suspect, there's probably going to be at least, I would guess, at least 8 minutes of additional time at the end of this game because of that injury to Chris Richards. So we've got about 6 minutes remaining now, so there's at least 14 minutes, so nearly a quarter of an hour for Crystal Palace to try and get an equaliser. Lerma goes down right on the edge of the centre circle and the referee has blown his whistle for a free kick. As Hughes and Trossard just have a very animated conversation as Pino is over the free kick for Crystal Palace. Pino, who actually scored in that 3-0 victory over Liverpool in the last round. That game was actually just a few days after Palace lost to Arsenal, thanks to that Eze goal as Pino drifts the ball into the Arsenal box. It's too heavy. That should go out for a goal kick, and indeed it does. But it was so close for Crystal Palace only a few minutes ago from a corner where the ball was pretty much cleared off the line. I think it was Kepa in the end who made the stop. Palace so close to scoring from one corner, and then Arsenal were able to score from theirs. And it was so frustrating for the Palace defence. But that is the danger that Arsenal have from these set pieces. They've worked really, really hard on them. And once again they pay off. It will be the end of the game for Gabriel Jesus. His first start in 345 days. He's had a pretty good game up front, but he wasn't able to score, and that was mainly due to the brilliance of the goalkeeper, Walter Benitez. And he has been replaced by Declan Rice. It does make you wonder who's going to play down the middle for Arsenal. Perhaps Mikel Merino will go into his role as false 9 for the Gunners. Crystal Palace have also made a substitution. They've taken off Yeremy Pino and they brought on Kristantos Uche. What can Uche do with the remaining few minutes? There's one by Norgard. Hughes, though, is able to push it down towards Wharton, but Arsenal win the ball back, and now Rice plays it back to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly licks the ball down the line towards Trossard. It's hooked away by Lerma, and Arsenal have a throw on the far side. Ball goes down the line towards Trossard, who's raced away from Lerma. Lerma has tracked the run and is able to get a foot in, and that should be an Arsenal corner kick. And it isn't. It's going to be a Crystal Palace goal kick, and Leandro Trossard cannot believe that whatsoever. So far in this game, Arsenal have had 20 shots. Crystal Palace have had 5. Arsenal have had 5 on target, and Crystal Palace have had none. So Palace have a throw on the far side. It will be Jefferson Lerma. He throws it down the line. The header is won by Calafiori. Nodded forward by Rice. Ball is bouncing on the far side. Palace try and hook it away. Uche nods the ball forward. Saliba is there, and Calafiori tries to play it down the line. He is able to find an Arsenal player in Rice, and Wharton gets a foot in, and Arsenal have a throw on the far side, about 5 yards ahead of the halfway line. Miles Lewis-Skelly has the ball in his hands, preparing to take the throw for Arsenal in the 88th minute. It's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Maxence Lacroix own goal, the difference between the two sides at the moment. Lewis-Skelly being forced backwards, plays it to Calafiori. It's Saliba. Saliba gets away from Uche. He's so cool, he's so calm, he's so composed, but Timber loses the ball out to Hughes. Hughes plays it towards Uche. Saliba's able to get back. Uche tries to drift over a cross, but it's high and it's wide. Not a very good cross in the end. Saliba did well to recover. It was a clever pass by Hughes, but Uche, I don't think, was very comfortable having the ball towards his left side. He wanted to get back onto the right side, and that allowed Saliba to get back and do some pretty good defending. It will be an Arsenal goal kick. Kepa has told his defence to go forwards. Let's not invite any unwanted pressure, and let's put the ball in Crystal Palace's half of the field. Kepa is wasting quite a bit of time at the moment, though, in all honesty. Now the referee, I think, is coming over to certainly book someone. Having a vigorous conversation with Martin Odegaard, and I think it might be to Aretha Balaga for time wasting there. Indeed it is. And now he's still wasting time. He's cleaning his boot on the post, and finally he'll kick the ball and he'll knock it long. Kepa. It is won by Lacroix. Calafiori with the half volley. Hughes can't control it. Comes towards Saka. Saka plays it back to Saliba. In fact, he'll leave it for Kepa. Kepa will clear it first time into Palace's half towards Trossard. Klein with the header. Calafiori lifts the ball high into the air towards Saka. Gehi wins the header. Wharton is knocked over under the pressure of Rice. Play continues. Ball is high in the sky. Rice gets a foot out. Lerma will get to it first ahead of Trossard, and he'll try and shield it out of play. Trossard gives him a little shove. Lerma tumbles over, but it should just be a throw-in. We're in the 90th minute at the Emirates Stadium in North London. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. This for a place in the semi-finals of the EFL Cup, where Chelsea await. Calafiori. Ball drops towards Mikel Merino. He goes down and does brilliantly to find Odegaard. Odegaard plays it out wide. Rice will have to race to get there. He keeps it in play. Being tracked by Lerma. Lerma does brilliantly to win the ball back. Now with Klein, we're going to have 9 additional minutes at the end of this second half. Crystal Palace now have nearly 8.5 minutes to try and find a late equaliser. Here's Mark Gehi. He squares it to Maxence Lacroix. Lacroix decides to go route one towards Mateta. It's not a very good ball. Calafiori is able to nod the ball down to Lewis-Skelly. It comes back to Calafiori. Crystal Palace with a higher press, and that is brilliant from Lewis-Skelly. He absolutely rings around Taverny to get away from him. Now plays the ball inside to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard brings the ball into Palace's half. It comes wide to Saka. Saka goes safety first. He plays it back to Saliba. Saliba will take his time. Calafiori has the ball at his feet. He plays it over to Rice on the halfway lines. Through to Marina. It goes wide to Trossard. Trossard lifts it over towards Timber of all people. And Gehi has tracked that run. Gehi goes down. Timber comes through. Shot comes in. It's saved by Benitez. And Gehi nearly gifted Timber a second goal for Arsenal. Gehi just lost his balance. It allows Timber the chance to shoot, but Benitez was able to make the save from about 1 yard out. It's a brilliant save with his left leg in the end. I think Gehi's a bit annoyed with himself to fall down. It fell to Timber. It was a really good save by Benitez. Saka wanted the pass, I think. It was the right decision to go for the shot, but Benitez denies Arsenal once more. But the Gunners have a corner kick on the far side. Cross comes in from Rice. It's a deep one. Arsenal win the header, but Palace are able to clear it as Hughes comes all the way back to Lewis Skelly, who plays it to Kepa. Kepa goes long again. Big header there by Lerma. Klein tries to keep it in play. It's towards Mateta. Uche is able to knot it down to Mateta. He's able to play a half volley through to Veni, but that's excellent defending by Christian Norgard to get in front of the substitute. But Palace have a throw on the far side in the 93rd minute. We know they are dangerous from these long throws. Jefferson Lerma goes over once more. Can Palace get a late equaliser and send this game to a penalty shootout? Lacroix has come forward. Mateta will be a target. Uche will be a target. Saliba and Calafiori will have to be focused in defence for Arsenal. It's Lerma. He launches the ball into the box. It's a heavy one. It's headed away by Mikel Merino. Ball is played back into the box, but there is no one there in a gold-yellow shirt. Instead, it is Kepa who collects the ball, and he tells his teammates to calm down as he tosses it over to Lewis Skelly. Rice plays it back to Calafiori. Kepa once more. Over to Timber. It's Saliba. It's Kepa. Header is won by Gehi. Deveni is chasing towards it, but Saliba comes over. Deveni's done brilliantly to keep it in play. He tries to get away from Saliba, and Saliba clearly pulls the shirt of Deveni, and that will be a free kick to Crystal Palace. I think it should be a yellow card. I don't know if it is, but it's certainly an opportunity for Crystal Palace to put in a cross. It does put Arsenal on the back foot here. Adam Wharton is coming over to take it. It'll be a left-footed out swinger. This free kick is on the near side. What can Wharton do? We're in the 95th minute. There'll be 9 additional minutes in total at the end of this second half. It's Wharton with a delivery. It's towards the back post. Decent delivery. Header comes in and the ball is turned in the back of the net. And it's Mark Gehi. And Crystal Palace have their equaliser. Oliver Glasner celebrates. And it's perfectly timed from Mark Gehi. And Calafiori, I think, is down. He cannot believe it. The Palace fans in the away end are going absolutely nuts because Crystal Palace have a late equaliser against Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta cannot believe it. It was a terrific delivery from Adam Wharton towards the far post. The header was won. I think it was Lerma. And Gehi was lurking. And he was able to slot the ball into the back of the net. It's a brilliant header from Lerma. It's a brilliant run from Gehi. There's nothing that Kepa could do about it. A side-footed finish through the legs of the Spanish goalkeeper. Glasner is absolutely delighted. But who was marking Lerma? There was no one. And Palace have got a late equaliser, and we might be heading to a penalty shootout. Mark Gehi with the captain's example there. We're in the 96th minute. We've got 3 minutes remaining, and it's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1, and Calafiori cannot believe it. Now pointing at his eye. I think he's having a little bit of problem with his vision. There's always something that will be a concern for a medical team, as the Palace fans are just absolutely bouncing in the away end at the Emirates. I've got to say, Mark Gehi has been very stoic about all of this. Barely a smile on his face. But the fact is, he has managed to get an equaliser for Crystal Palace in stoppage time. A terrific header from Lerma. And Gehi was able to put the ball through the legs of Kepa. Might have just been a slight hand by Lerma over the eye of Calafiori. Nothing that would have this goal to be disallowed, even if VAR was working tonight. Oliver Glasner absolutely loves what he'd just seen. So have the Palace fans. Martin Odegaard is thinking very differently. Martin Odegaard might be one of the penalty takers very, very shortly for Arsenal. So it's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1. We are about to get the game back underway. We're in the 98th minute. I suspect there'll be a couple more minutes now to play because of that stop for that medical attention to Calafiori. But Odegaard just loses control of the ball and it comes out for a Palace throw on the near side. So Mitchell will take his time. It's Glasner who passes the ball over to his left wing back. Tyrick Mitchell, now 26 years of age. Just seen his skipper, Mark Gahey, score a late equaliser. It's Mitchell. Ball is headed away by Saka. It's towards Marino. He won't control the ball. Hughes lifts the ball over the top. Uche goes down under a challenge with Timber, but Saliba will collect the loose ball. It's squared over to Calafiori. It's a nearly very dangerous ball by Saliba as Calafiori was able to play it back to Kepa, who launches it high into the sky. Ball goes above Marino. He gets... It's a bit of an altercation there with Lequara. The ball comes out to Saka on the right-hand side. He's going to try and run at Gahey. Mitchell's there. It's a heavy cross from Saka. It'll come all the way out to Declan Rice on the far side. We're in the 99th minute. Arsenal pushing to get a late winner. It's Norgard. Plays it to the feet of Lewis Skelly. Shot comes in. It's blocked right at the near post by Lerma. It's like a cross shot from Miles Lewis Skelly. It was a really good pass into the box from Norgard to the left back. Klein fell to his knee. A shot, cross, came over, but it was stopped by Lerma. And Arsenal have another corner kick. We're in the 100th minute of this match. Can Arsenal get a late winner against Crystal Palace? It's 1-1. Second ball just bounces onto the field. Odegaard will put it out of play. Declan Rice is preparing to take a corner kick. Cross comes in from Rice towards the far post again. Headed away by Palace. I think it was Lerma who got the touch. Saka heads it back in. Headed away again by Lerma. Comes back out to Rice. We'll try to get a cross in. Cross comes in. Headed away by Lacroix. Drops to Saka. He goes down under the challenge of Wharton right on the edge of the box. No foul. No penalty given. Palace are breaking away with Wharton. He lifts it over the top. It's towards Mateta. And it's just going to be too heavy because Kepa's out of his goal. He's able to side foot it away. Comes to Marino. He goes down under the challenge of Wharton and Arsenal get a free kick. And Arsenal's assistants aren't happy that they didn't get a penalty or at least a free kick for the high foot by Wharton on Saka. I've not been able to see if he connected with the Arsenal winger. And you know what? I don't think he touched him there. I don't think he touched him at all as Palace make a late substitution. They take off Tyrick Mitchell and on comes the former Ajax wingback Borna Sosa. You do wonder, for a change to take place in the 101st minute, is that one for the penalty shootout? You suspect that it is. Well, I always question that decision. I never think that the player brought on is really warmed up enough. I always think that's a risk, but we will see. As the ball goes into the Palace box, Lequara wins the header. Hughes heads it away. Comes towards Lewis Skelly. All the way back to Calafiori. Ball is kicked high into the sky. Towards Saliba. Timber can't knock the ball on. Gahey kicks the ball high into the sky. Cleared away by Sosa towards Odegaard. He's battling with Uche. It goes beyond both of them. Drops to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly's taken down by Uche. And then Uche goes down and it will be an Arsenal free kick right on the outskirts of the centre circle. We're in the 102nd minute. Kepa's come forward to take this free kick. This is the last chance. Ball comes out wide to Saka. Saka's got to get a cross in soon. Sosa's in front of him. Saka's onto his left foot. Cross comes in. Decent delivery. Ball comes loose. Comes towards Rice. He tries to get a shot away with his left foot, but the ball is gathered by Benitez. And Arsenal know that was a really good last chance. But again, they were thwarted by Walter Benitez. The ball was just coming loose in the 6-yard box. Rice was able to swing a left foot at the ball inside the box, but it was saved by Benitez at the far post. Would have been difficult for Rice to score from there, But the goalkeeper has done really well once more. And they might just need him one more time, because the referee has blown his whistle and we are heading to penalties at full time. It's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1, and we have got penalties to come. Join me again in just a moment.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Welcome back to the Emirates, where all eyes are on the goalkeepers, because we are about to have a penalty shootout in the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. Arsenal thought they were going through to the semi-finals when they took the lead in the 80th minute thanks to an own goal by Maxence Lacroix. But late in stoppage time, Mark Gehi got a late equaliser for his Crystal Palace side. So that means, because we're at the quarter-final stage of the competition, there is no extra time, so we are going straight to a penalty shootout. The two goalkeepers give a nice warm embrace. It's Kepa Arrizabalaga for Arsenal. It's Walter Benitez, who has been sensational for Crystal Palace this evening. They are just having a conversation with the referee, Stuart Atwell. It will be a yellow ball because we're deep in winter in North London. And it will be Arsenal who go first. And it's their captain, it's their skipper. It's Martin Ødegaard who will take the first penalty kick for Arsenal in this shootout. This for a place in the semi-finals. Chelsea are waiting to face the victors. The Arsenal players on the pitch and the Arsenal substitutes and the backroom team are all linked arm to arm, watching on. Benitez was brilliant. He made 3 really good saves from Noni Madueke in the first half. He did a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Jesus in the first half. He made another good save from him in the second half. He denied Declan Rice late on in stoppage time. Now he's facing Martin Ødegaard for the first penalty in the penalty shootout. Odegaard comes towards the ball and he finds the back of the net. That's a brilliant penalty from the skipper. Goalkeeper dived to his left. Odegaard put it to his right. He opened up his body. He found the back of the net. 1-0. And up steps Palace's first penalty kick taker. It is Jean-Philippe Mateta. He's got 7 Premier League goals this season. He had a difficult game this evening, but he continued to battle. And he's going 1-on-1 with Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's Mateta. And he just rolls the ball into the back of the net. The goalkeeper dived to his right. He just put it just right of centre to the goalkeeper's left. It was simple. It was easy. And it's 1-1. And that has put a smile on the face of the Crystal Palace supporters. Now up steps another leader of Arsenal. It's Declan Rice, the England international. The man who led West Ham to European glory. Can he put the ball in the back of the net from 12 yards? It's Declan Rice versus Walter Benitez. He takes a deep exhale of breath. He approaches the ball and he fires it into the back of the net. No chance there for Walter Benitez. Benitez dived to his right. It was pretty much down the middle from Declan Rice. And it's 2-1. Crystal Palace next up. Can they get the scores level once more? It's the youngster, it's Justin Devenny from Northern Ireland, 22 years of age, as the Arsenal fans are waving their scarves behind the goal, trying to put off the substitute. He approaches the ball with his left foot and he puts it calmly into the back of the net. A lovely little finish there from Justin Devenny. Goalkeeper Kepa had no chance. Remember, Kepa famously saved penalties in a EFL Cup final for Chelsea a few years ago to win the trophy. That was when he refused to come off, you may remember. Now it's Bukayo Saka. Saka is next up. It was his corner that Arsenal were able to score. It's Saka versus Benitez. Comes up to the ball and he puts it to the goalkeeper's left, right in the corner. A really, really good penalty kick from Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's star boy. No chance at all there for the goalkeeper, Walter Benitez. Next up for Crystal Palace, it's Will Hughes, formerly of Watford, formerly of Derby. Some of the Crystal Palace fans can barely watch. Hughes just places the ball on the spot. He slowly paces away. He will strike this with his left foot. It's Hughes versus Kepa, and Hughes puts it calmly down the middle. Kepa dived to his right. Hughes put it down the middle. It was high down the middle. I think he realises it could have gone slightly wrong, but it didn't. It's 3-3. And we're in our 4th round of penalties. And it's the Belgium international, Leandro Trossard, who's stepping up to take it next for Arsenal. He's scored 4 times this season in the Premier League. Will he score tonight from the spot against Walter Benitez? Taking his time putting it on the spot. Some of the Arsenal fans are watching between their fingers. Trossard takes a deep breath. He approaches the ball and he's put it high into the corner. It's a really good penalty. The goalkeeper, Benitez, dived the right way. He dived to his left, but Trossard put it high and Benitez couldn't reach it. And it's 4-3. And next up, it's Sosa. Borna Sosa from Ajax. Signed in the summer. He was a very late substitute, Borna Sosa. I questioned whether that was a smart idea to bring on a player, especially for a penalty shootout. Will it play off for Oliver Glasner? He approaches the ball and he puts it in the back of the net. Right decision by Glasner. Great penalty by Sosa, and it's 4-4. So we are now technically at sudden death. And first up for the 5th penalty, it's Mikel Merino. Nobody has missed so far. Could Merino be the first? Arteta watching on. Eze has his arm around his manager as they watch Mikel Merino, who's taking some really big, deep breaths. He approaches the ball and he calmly places it into the back of the net. Benitez barely went to his right, but Merino put it to his left. And Arteta is trying to raise the noise inside the Emirates. And it will be Jefferson Lerma. He has to score if Crystal Palace are going to stay in this shootout. If he misses, it's Arsenal going into the semi-finals. Glasner puts his arm around one of his assistants. It's Lerma against Kepa. Will Kepa be the hero, or will Lerma keep this penalty shootout going a little longer? He approaches the ball and he puts it into the back of the net, and it's 5-5. And Glasner loves it. That's exactly what Glasner wanted to see. So it really is at sudden death now. It's the 6th round of penalties. It's the former Bologna man. It's the Italian defender. He's normally a left back for Arsenal. He played centre half this evening. And now he is penalty taker. It is Riccardo Calafiori. Arteta watches on. Calafiori approaches the ball with his left foot and he shoots it down the middle. And it's a 6th penalty scored for Arsenal. And again, the pressure mounts on Crystal Palace. And it will be Adam Wharton. He had a really good game in the centre of midfield for Crystal Palace. He's such a talented, young English midfielder. He's got a brilliant left foot. Will that left foot find the back of the net? The Palace fans cannot watch. It's Wharton. He shoots and he puts the ball into the back of the net. That's a brilliant penalty. To his right, I think it might have even clipped the inside of the post. It certainly hit the inside of the side netting. A really good penalty from Adam Wharton. 6-6. And next up is Jurrien Timber, and Mikel Merino and Bukayo Saka are sending support over to Timber. The Dutch fullback. Gotta be honest, he does look a little nervous. Is he about to be the one player in this game who misses? Or will he score Arsenal's 7th penalty of the evening? It's Jurrien Timber. He approaches the ball, he shoots, and it's a brilliant penalty. He absolutely thrashed that into the back of the net. Benitez dived the right way. The Arsenal players have got huge smiles on their face because that was an outstanding spot kick. One of the best we've seen so far. And now it is Uche. And And what is really interesting here is Uche is an attacker, he's a forward, and yet it's not until the 7th penalty that he is standing up to take it for Crystal Palace. Does that mean he does not have belief in himself? What does it mean? Does it mean anything? Is he about to hammer it into the back of the net like we just saw Timber do? Or is he going to be the guy that misses? He approaches the ball, shot comes in. It's easy for him. Side-footed into the back of the net. He shushes the home fans. And it's 7-7. Will anyone miss? Will we be here all night? Quite possibly. And now it's Arsenal's magnificent, brilliant centre half. It's William Saliba. He receives the ball from his goalkeeper, Kepa. And now he will face Walter Benitez. None of the goalkeepers, neither of the goalkeepers, have got close to any of the penalties. It's Saliba. He delays his step. He shoots the ball and it's into the back of the net. And it's 8-7 to Arsenal. Confident, calm there from Saliba. No one is missing. Every penalty has been great. And this is interesting. It's now Maxence Lacroix. Lacroix scored the own goal that gave Arsenal the lead. This could be a really bad evening for Lacroix if he adds a missed penalty to his own goal. But he could avenge his mistake earlier by equalising from